Oh, box. Oh, I've been wanting this emote. I just never knew how to get it.
Come to see how we're getting on? We've made good progress since we took back Alamigo, but there's one big issue we still have to address. Leadership. The Domans had Lord Hien ready and willing to take the throne, but we've got no one like that here. Theodoric was our last ruler, and he wasn't called the Mad King for nothing.
Suffice it to say, our people have had their fill of kings, which means we need to find a new way forward.
If only it were that easy. Everyone and his uncle has an opinion. For the time being, we're just going to have to keep leaning on General Aldin and the Alliance for support, and see if we can't find a solution together. Something tells me we're going to be hosting a lot of meetings in the near future. But if that's what it takes, I'm ready to talk till my jaw aches. The Reach is yours, Nargo. Don't do anything I wouldn't.
Aye, aye, Commander.
Ah, there you are. I've been searching all over for you. Don't worry, it's nothing bad. That said, this might not be the best place to talk. Will you join me? I'll get to the point. Might you be interested in a spot of adventure? After all, we were adventurers before we were scions, were we not? After routing the Imperials and liberating Alamigo, I reckon we've earned a bit of respite, don't you? And what better way to spend it than by returning to our roots? So, what say you? Shall we call on Alphino and go adventuring?
I don't know how I feel about how I smiled there. Right then, let's go find Master Levalier. Actually, leave that to me. I want you fresh for our little adventure. Wait for us by the Athrite, and we'll be along shortly. See you there. Greetings, Teha. It would seem we are to accompany our involved on some manner of escapade. Have you any idea what you've gotten ourselves into? Allow me to explain. It'd be something of a history lesson, but I'll try to be brief. No snoring, if you please. Now, the events I would speak of occurred before the occupation, back when Alamigo was still on monarchy, and Theodoric sat on the throne. A uniquely brutal despot, by all accounts. That he was. The king of ruin suffered no rivals, real or imagined, and his dispute with the monks of the Fist ended with Ralger's Reach being burned to the ground. In the latter years of his rule, he was seized by the unshakable belief that unseen forces were conspiring to steal his crown. And so he ordered that every soul with a claim to the throne be executed, including his own family. The wealth of the poor sods he put to death became the property of the king, and it's said that these royal treasures were hoarded somewhere in the palace. Thus was born the legend of the Mad King's Trove. Ah, I believe I see the direction our adventure is to take. I assume you have a mind to unearth this hidden bounty. You assume correctly. And would I also be correct in assuming that this legend is widely known? Others must surely have gone in search of your prize, tempting as it seems. Well, of course, we won't be the first to make the attempt. Following Alamigo's liberation, more than a few eager soldiers turned the palace upside down in hopes of claiming an easy fortune. But even after scouring every room from dawn till dusk, they uncovered not a single coin. Their gold lust drained away as quickly as it had come, and the legend of the Mad King's trove remains simply that, a legend. But I see you have no intention of letting the story end there. What self-respecting adventurer would? Imagine, the three of us delving into a decades-old mystery. Tell me the thought doesn't set your heart to racing. Uh-huh. You've learned the emote box. Let me try it. Cool. And stuff. The news of Doma and Alamigo's liberation has kindled the flames of revolution in every corner of the Empire. I hear the Imperial province of Dalmasca has already risen up in rebellion, which means the Garleans must surely have their hands full. What better time than now to indulge in such a diversion? Tell us, Arnvald, have we any clues as to where we might begin our search? Well, judging by how the other treasure hunters fared, nosing about the palace isn't like to get us anywhere, so we'll probably need to ask around. Would there be another way of saying no? Well, yes. I see. In that case, I shall pay a visit to the Allied Archivists and request access to the records seized from the Imperials. The Garleans are meticulous about such things. If they uncovered the trove during their occupation, the event is certain to have been recorded. In the meantime, the two of you can track down those who work as palace servants and officials in Theodric's day. Given that they would have been at least 20 at the time, you'll be looking for people who have seen 40 summers or more. Anything they can tell you about the king and his bloody deeds may prove useful, so be sure to listen well. Arnvald, pray try your luck in the fringes and the peaks while Teja makes the rounds in the Alamigan quarter. Ha! And there I was thinking I was the party leader. Not that I mind, of course. Let's be about it, eh? We can meet afterwards at Gilbard's Gate. In the palace? No, not me, lad. Surely you've heard stories of the Mad King. He used to hold public executions up on the divine audience. Anyone, and I mean anyone, suspected of conspiring against the crown was flung from the top of those steps. Suffice it to say that I stayed as far away from the palace as possible. Fair enough. You want to hear an old maid's stories, do you? Well, most of what I know of the Mad King is common knowledge. We'd only see his royal majesty when he deigned to attend the executions he ordered. And after a while, even watching his enemies die wasn't enough to coax him out of hiding. They say he started seeing assassins in every shadow, and wouldn't set foot outside the palace walls. I was offered work there as a royal servant once, but the mere thought of it left me in the cold sweat. Why did it get so quiet all of a sudden? I served at the pleasure of King Theodric and lived to tell the tale. One of the palace guards I was. Truth be told, it was a dark chapter in my life, one I'd sooner forget. Hardly a night went by when we didn't hear blood-curdling screams echoing from the inner chambers, which of course were under orders to ignore. So we'd stand still as statues, trying to imagine what horrors were unfolding within. if you're hell's bent on finding out what happened in the palace, head down the street here and ask old Arnold. He was the king's head scribe. Yes, I'm Arnold. What do you want from me? You would have me dredge up some decidedly unsavory memories. Yet if Alamigo is to move forward, he must needs acknowledge the misdeeds of the past. Very well. I shall tell you what I remember. I take it you know of Theodric's paranoia and the public executions of his kingsmen. Those were terrible enough, but in his last days, the king's fevered mind settled upon an even grislier method of disposal, which only a chosen few were unfortunate enough to witness. His Majesty ordered the court thaumaturge to unleash a vile curse upon the remaining members of the royal family, magic which transformed them into fiends of hideous aspect. The resulting monstrosities were then cast into the darkness below the palace. Even now my sleep is troubled by nightmares. If others of Theodric's blood were prone to share his madness, then mayhap it is a kindness that the monarchy ended with him. Fuck. We're all here. Why don't we share what we've learned? Allow me to begin then. As promised, I scoured the Imperial records for any mention of fantastic treasures, and found precisely none. It is just possible, I suppose, that a corrupt official deliberately hid the fact of the trove's discovery, hoping to enrich himself. But I find it rather unlikely that so valuable a find would stay secret for long. I conclude that our prize either does not exist, or that the Imperials somehow overlooked it. But what of you, Teja? Were your investigations any more fruitful? Turned into monsters? But what could he mean by this darkness beneath the palace, I wonder? I met an old man in Alagiri who spoke of the palace's subterranean prison. He said not of cursed abominations. Imperial archives were also silent on the subject of fiends inside the palace grounds. Could this scribe fellow have been spinning him a yarn, do you think? Did you believe him, Teja? If he was afraid, it does lend credence to the tale, though I'm not sure how that helps us in our search. Do not be so tasty. Arnold's anecdote may very well have told us where the trove is hidden, but ere I share my theory, there's a matter I would clarify. Arnvald, you spoke of light-hearted adventure, but I sense a deeper motive for this expedition. Why are you so intent in finding this treasure? It wasn't all pretense, I swear it, but you're right. My father was in the Imperial Army, a man of Garlean blood. I trust you know what I mean when I say that my Alamigan mother did not welcome my arrival. As I grew, she would check my brow over and over, convinced that a spot on my skin was an emerging third eye, like the kind you see in pure-blood Garleans. My mother did not care for this taunting reminder of my heritage, and took up a knife. War paint serves to cover the scar. Jesus. In the end, she turned me out into the street, and I was left to haunt the alleyways of Alamigo, a feral child who got what he needed through begging, cunning, or worse. The best I can say about the years that followed is that I survived, but I hated the animal I'd become. Eventually I left the city behind me and joined a group of refugees bound for the other side of the wall. It was then that I turned to adventuring, and that road led me into the company of the Scions. I tell you this so that you understand. I know all too well that poverty and hunger can do to a person. I drew steel and ordinary folk for a measly crust of bread. With Ordric's gold, I could spare my countrymen the same of living like that. Thank you, Arnveld, and I apologize. That cannot have been pleasant to recall, but it felt best to be clear in our intentions. Well, Teha, are you content to surrender the treasure to Arnveld's noble cause, and claim the thrill of adventurer as your reward? Then I should be glad to tell you my theory on the resting palace of the Mad King's Trove, if you're minded to hear it. Elfnald seems eager to share his story. Actually, mayhap it would be better if we first adjourned to a more suitable location. In case a rival treasure hunter overhears our plans, you mean? Good thinking. That was not exactly the reason, but 'tis certainly a valid concern. Let us reconvene on the southern edge of Loch's Seld. I always want to say Loch's Shield. There you be. I want to know where this leads to. Forgive me. It was not my intention to draw up proceedings. Simply wished to have the lock in sight while I explain things. Prior to the great flood of the 6th Umbral Calamity, the salt lakes you see before you were yet dry ravines. And this, I believe it or not, is the site of the ancient city of Scala, which rose and fell during the 5th Astral Era. From what we know of the period, the city was already deserted by the time the waters began to rise, having been all but destroyed by war, yet its ruins remain to this day at the bottom of the Loch Seld. It's my belief that the darkness beneath the palace mentioned by Theodric's former scribe was not a reference to the prison, but to a place still further below, the ruins of Scala. I mean, I've been down there and I see structure, so I guess that those structures could be buildings. I further surmise that the Mad King's unfortunate kinsmen were cast down there not simply out of a desire to punish them, but to discourage exploration. Theodric wanted to keep the ruins secure. Wait, you're saying they were meant to guard the Mad King's Trove? Precisely. And since we know the court thaumaturge was involved, we can safely assume that any entrance into the old city will have been magically concealed. Which would explain how a legion of Imperial soldiers and the gods know how many Alamegans never found a trace of the Trove. May, however, have certain advantages, I can't speak today, which they did not enjoy. Teha, would you be so good as to swim down to the bottom of the loch and search for underwater route into the ruins? While you do that, Arnvald and I will seek out an ensorcelled portal within the palace. Am I doing this? You discover a passage that appears to lead under the palace foundations. Press on and find out where it goes. Okay. This would be it, I guess. You come to a worn stone door, standing temptingly ajar. It would appear you have found an entrance into the subterranean ruins. Teja, it's Alphino. We have searched the prison beneath the palace, and found that doors concealed by enchantments. Have you aught to report? And you believe it leads into the ruins? Excellent. Then I propose we proceed from our respective entry points and look to meet somewhere in the middle. Oh, come on, lads. Might as well make it a race. Victory goes to the first adventurer to find the treasure. Godspeed. Oh boy. Good. Glad I didn't step out. I would have missed the cue. Ugh. Gross. Whoa, what are you? Kelpie. Okay. So, good thing I followed what they were doing. Oh, these are... You know what this is making me want to play, honestly? Fucking Tomb Raider. I want to replay those games so bad. The old one. I actually recognize the look of this. I think that's I think you can buy something that looks like this. For real. Eh? How am I supposed to... That's weird. They died pretty quickly though. Cool. That was a fun fight. Unexpected transformations. Oh, what am I now? Core reform has been altered, inhibiting use of actions. Oh, that's to go over the gap, I suppose. Interesting look they're giving me. Okay, fluffy thing. Actually looks really cool. I'd have that as a mount if I could. Gala! I want to know what that picture is behind it. I wonder if I need to dodge that or just take it. Barely dodged that. Okay, is that all you're going to do basically? It's just these moves. Sweet. Sorry I had to kill you, but had to be done. Wait, you're a person. Oh, alright. I didn't get a chance to see his face though. They fell through.
Are you all right? Aye. Everything's still attached.
That's good.
Ah, it seems both our paths led here. Very good. We spent altogether too much time fleeing fiends horrid and numerous. How fared you? Much the same, then. 'Twould appear this place is yet inhabited by King Theodoric's kin, or what is left of them. The work of terrible magics, I fear.
Terrible, aye. But their misfortune is our fortune?
Quite. By the 12, there is even more than I imagined.
God, this is some J.J. Abrams glare right here.
Oh, I can't wait to see the look on Lisa's face. Thanks for believing in me, you two.
Arnvald and I forged ahead at the fastest pace we could manage, but I was not surprised to find you waiting for us. I suppose it serves us right for challenging the Warrior of Light. Next time we should agree on some manner of handicap. Ah, we may have lost Alphino, but think of what we found. Quite. I'm still reeling at the sight of that mountain of riches. What? Like how you reeled at the sight of that floating specter, you mean? You should have heard him scream, Teha. Must we dwell on such momentary lapses? We found the Mad King's trove, and that is all that matters. Synchronized shrug. That's funny. Well then, all jesting aside, we must tell people the good news, and I think Lise should be the first. Seconded. There's to be a meeting of representatives from across Alamigo, so she is sure to be in the city. Shall we seek her out? Let's. We want to go across. This way. You wouldn't want me to mess up your pretty face now, would you? What are you guys fighting about? You got something to say? Or you know what? Never mind. You two go at it. Have fun. I got things to do. Oh, you three look pleased with yourselves. What have you been up to? I'm glad you asked, Lise. I'm pretty sure you're gonna like the answer. You're joking. The Mad King's trove. I thought it was a myth. So did plenty of people, but they didn't have Teha and Alphino in their party. The credit for finding it should really go to them. As for what to do with it all, I vote that it go towards alleviating the suffering of Alamigo's poor. Gods, if there's as much as you say. Arnvald did not exaggerate, I assure you. We could not hope to carry even a fraction of it out on our own. I have taken the liberty of sketching out a rough map of the ruins. If you'll assemble a squad of your most trusted freedom fighters, they should be able to follow the route to wherever the treasure lies. Understood. I'll make sure every coin is accounted for, and that goes for the spending of it as well. Thank you. Oh, there's one more thing. When the time comes to draw up a plan for distributing the spoils, I would ask that you consult Alphino. I don't have a head for details. I'm not educated. I see that simply handing out sacks of gil won't solve anything. It will solve everything. But I couldn't rightly tell you what to do instead. Oh, I know the feeling. I'd welcome any advice you'd give us, Alphino. Of course. I shall be at your disposal. Commander, we've got a problem. Deep breaths. Tell me what happened. It's always someone running in, interrupting things. A mob's gathered outside headquarters. They've started making demands. You best come see for yourself. Rabble, rabble, mob, mob, yar, yar, yar.
Step back, all of you!
Like hells we will! We know who you've got in there!
We're not leaving till you hand her over!
Oh, her.
Bring her out! Bring her out!
What's going on?
someone let slip about Fedora.
Yeah. I figured this would happen.
It's true then. The bitch really is in there. I knew it. I bloody knew it. We demand vengeance! Bring her out! Today we butcher the butcher!
Come on, you don't mean that! We'd be no better than the Imperials if you'd all just calm down!
Calm down! That monster and her thrice damned skulls dragged my man from our home and beat him to death in the street!
Aye! And my dad! That bitch has spilt enough blood to fill a lock!
We all know her crimes. She's a traitor and a murderer. How many of your resistance friends have died at her hands, eh? And here you are, protecting her!
So that's what all the fuss is about. Hearken to me, brothers and sisters of Alamigo.
Hey, who's this?
Who's this, he says.
That's the Bull of Alamigo.
My friends, you are not alone in your anger, your grief, your despair, for it is mine as well.
It's fucking Roban to you.
That gnawing pain in your breast, it is enough to bring an old bull to his knees. But I ask you, brothers and sisters, to think not only of the family and friends who were cut down before your very eyes, but to think also of the ones who were abducted, the ones who may yet live. Where were they taken? What became of them? These questions demand answers. I share your thirst for justice, for vengeance, but we will gain only fleeting satisfaction if we give in to our base appetites. We will never know the truth. Now is the time that we, the people of Alamigo, must decide what manner of nation we will build for ourselves, and for generations yet unborn. When they look to our example, will they see a people who held fast to their principles, or one who cast them aside when tried? I say to you, it is our responsibility to give these prisoners a fair trial, that they might answer to all of Alamigo. The Garleans called us savages, and I'll be damned if we prove them right.
I know you're right, I do. But I can't.
Thank God Roban was there. Shit. My thanks, Roban. Listening to their anger, I could feel myself being swept away. 'Tis a difficult tide to stem. 'Twas the same rage which brought us to our feet, and carried us to victory. But now the war is over, all the unspent fury is being channeled into vengeance. Aye, and it's not just here, with reports of mobs forming all over. They've been targeting folk known to have cooperated with the Garleans. Starts with insults most often, then someone picks up a stone. Some industrious souls even thought to seek out the graves of Xenos and his officers. It was grim. I want to rebuild a country where everyone, regardless of race or origin, can live side by side in peace. But maybe the time isn't right. Maybe people just aren't ready. But that doesn't mean I'm not going to try. The representatives will be here soon. and I'll be damned if I'm gonna give up before I've even begun. Who are these representatives exactly? Oh, village elders, refugee leaders, and the like. It wouldn't be right for us to dictate the nation's future on our own, so we've planned a summit of sorts. We've even invited the Ananta and the Kikirin to participate. Alamigo stands at a crossroads, and this meeting will decide which path it takes. The matter of Fordola's sentence can't be suffered to disrupt proceedings. Then let's execute her and be done with it. She herself has to be put to death. Nago, I already explained why we couldn't do that. Sending her to the gallows might satisfy people right now, but where would it end? Should we round up everyone who collaborated, and everyone who didn't resist? There would be no one left, and we'd be no better than Theodric and Xenos. Begging your pardon, but might I be allowed to speak with Fordola? Only, I caught a glimpse of her past. A moment of it, anyway, during the fight. She's done terrible things, aye, unforgivable things, but in some ways she's a victim of the circumstances in which she was born, and that's something I can understand. Alright, speak with the prison guard when you're ready, and I'll come and join you. I want to talk with her too. I'll return to my other duties then. We've barely begun to investigate the facility where they gave Fordola her powers. Be fairly warned, friends, she will test you. Don't let your emotions color your judgment when she does. Give the commander's permission to enter then. Yeah, may as well.
Well, well, well. So many visitors. Come to have a good laugh, have you? Or do you mean to put me out of my misery? To finish what you started? It's about bloody time.
That's not why we're here, no. Do you remember what I said? How I promised you you'd live long enough to see us win our freedom? Well, I meant it. And not to mock you either.
You're wasting your time. All of this is pointless! There's no reason to keep me alive, and you know it! I killed your men. I killed my men! And you know what my only regret is? That I didn't kill you when I had the chance!
That's a lie, and you know it! You think we can't tell what you're trying to do? That we're blind? Yeah, you're a fool, but you're not stupid. You're ruthless. Relentless. You'd give up anything and everything to get what you want. You didn't come this far, climbing over the bodies of your own brothers and sisters just to piss it all away. I see you, Fordola. I see you for what you are.
Come along, Fordola. We mustn't be late. The Imperial Viceroy will be attending today's banquet.
All right!
Father, What's Lord Gaius like? Is he nice? Are you friends?
There you go again with all your questions. Lord Gaius is a great and honourable man who looks after all of Alamigo. He's very busy, and if we don't hurry, we'll miss our chance to see him.
Filthy tin-head lovers.
Father, what did that man call us?
The little tin-head lover doesn't know what she is, eh? A traitor, sweetheart. A backstabbing bitch who'd gladly betray her kith and kin to gnaw on what few scraps the Imperials deign to toss her. Like your bastard father and whore mother.
That's not true! My parents are good people! They've never done anything like that!
Oh, but they were quick to help themselves and their bitch spawn, weren't they? You're just as guilty as them.
Guy's just going off on him. Was that a...
Fadola!
Traitors!
Please, you have to do something. My husband and daughter are in danger.
Soldiers of the Imperial Army are under no obligation to intervene in the disputes of arm.
We're citizens. We have rights.
Ah!
I'm scared.
It's all right. It's all right. They don't understand, but they'll see in time. They'll see that this is the only way to survive.
Traitors! Traitors!
Let the savages have their fun. They'll be more compliant once they've tired themselves out.
Jesus. And they can't do anything about it, so...
Fadola, please. You already have citizenship. Why would you want to become a soldier? Oh, gods. What have you done to your face?
Forgotten it already, have you? I'm honouring Father's memory.
By telling the world that you know better than a common savage.
Am I though, Mother? Are any of us? Can't you see? Citizenship means nothing to them. If you're not a pure-blood Garlean, you're no different from any other savage. So I'll play the part. I'll join the Legion and I'll make them respect me. And when the mob see that, they'll think twice before throwing their stones. Ansfrid, Rudolph, Emlyn. It's time. It'll be hard. Humiliating. They'll try to break us. Send us crawling back to our own kind. But we won't, no matter what. We'll bleed for them, die for them if we have to. We'll do whatever it takes to be free!
That's really sad. So traumatized by that she ended up just saying fuck it.
So, you mean to play the part one last time, eh? The unrepentant traitor whose death will serve to unite the people?
Shut up.
You had every chance to kill yourself. Fashion a noose from your clothes. Wait for the guards to leave you alone long enough to slip it over your neck.
I said shut up!
Oh, but then it would have all been for nothing, wouldn't it? Whatever it takes. That's what you said.
Been in my head, have you? Had a little peek at my past? And what? A few stolen memories tell you everything you need to know, do they? Don't you dare patronize me! You don't know a god's damned thing about the life I've led! The bastards that killed him. The bastards that let it happen. My father deserved better! I swore I'd do whatever it took to make them pay!
I thought... Oh. Oh, she's seeing me now.
You. All that power. All that pain. It's too much. Too much for anyone. The things they've done to you. The lies. The betrayal. The endless fighting. Yet there you stand. Unbroken. How? Why? Damn you. Damn you all.
You still have time, Fordola. Think about how you want to spend it. Let's go.
Wow. That was a lot of heavy shit. Yeah, it's a burden. I mean, I can only imagine what it actually feels like. Oh boy. I mean, you got into her head, which is good. Otherwise, she would have just kept being how she was acting. I don't know that we solved anything exactly, but we've given Fordola something to think about at least. Aye, and I found something new to think about too. I don't know about you, Teja, but the visions only come to me every now and then. From the way Fordola kept wincing though, I get the feeling she's having them almost all the time. That's a lot of bad memories to deal with. I wonder, could there be some fundamental difference between one who is born with the echo and one who has been artificially imbued with it? Well, the immortal flames have been scouring the research facility ever since the liberation. There's a chance they might have some answers for us. General Alden's there overseeing the investigation. Let's go and pay him a visit, shall we? Yeah, I mean, no! What is this guy on about? We just won a war. And you're like, do we not deserve to be free? Like, you deserve to help out while we rebuild. How about that? Give it time a bit. Oh, wow. They're just creating stuff away. What news? You spoke with Fordola, I take it. Yes, as I expected. She didn't say very much, but it wasn't a total waste of time. Arnvald noticed something odd about her. He thinks she might be having visions almost constantly, which is not how the Echo normally works. Have you found anything here which might explain why it's so different for her? We've been hard-pressed just to organize the research materials, let alone study them. To be frank, I'd welcome the Scion's expert assistance if you had time to lend a hand. These pods remind me of the pods in FF7 when Sephiroth and Cloud are finding things in what's the town called? Nibelheim? I think behind Nibelheim, I believe. The device in which Kryl was held seems even more ominous now that you know its purpose. Surrounding pods are marked Supply Subject, while this one bears the label Master Subject. The Ironworks received a request from the Alliance to analyze these devices, and I've been recording everything of interest. Did you notice the labeling? All the pods are designed to drain the aether of the occupant, save that one right there. Unlike the others, the interior has been fitted with an array of sensors to measure etheric waveforms. To what purpose, however, I couldn't tell you. So... Alright. What happens if I go all the way up here then? Oh, Lisa's here. Oh, a scientist. Section to me. God, this is a huge complex. Oh wow, that's where they've been putting the bodies. That's rough. So many bodies, every one of them a victim of these experiments. So these would have been inside those pods then, during the experiments. If you show any signs of external injury, from what I've been able to determine, they perished from forcible aether extraction. Such a miserable way to die. Fuck. That's so grim. Alright. I know little and less of science, so any light you can shed on this facility's operations would be much appreciated. Teja, shall we start with you? Taken in combination with the testimonies of Kryal and Thancred, I do begin to see exactly what the Imperials were attempting here. The enhancement procedure entailed infusing a single candidate with aether siphoned from a multitude of supply subjects. As for the master subject in this case, Kryal, the patterns of our aetheric activity would provide the model upon which they would artificially engineer the candidate's aura. In other words, they were trying to recreate Kryal's echo. I believe so, which would explain our prisoner's present state. Kryal is possessed with an unrivaled ability to hear the whispers of the soul, and it seems probable that the procedure engendered the same acute sensitivity in Fordola. The soldiers who guard Fordola, many of them lost friends and family to the skulls. And there's a sentry at her door night and day. If she can't help sensing their thoughts and seeing their past, but you don't just see their past, you live it. All the emotions, all the pain. Imagine what it'd do to you. You'd never be the same again. Indeed, as you may recall, Ysael was completely transformed by a single glimpse of Reisfelgar's past. Fordola has been forced to experience the agony of those whose lives she destroyed. The guilt must be unbearable. That explains her request to be executed. Yeah, she can't live with it. Sounds to me like a kind of justice. Regardless, she can suffer on for now. We have more pressing matters to consider. If the results of these experiments have been relayed back to Garlemald, there will be naught to stop the Empire from repeating the trick. They could give the echo to anyone, to an entire legion. We must be ready. We must learn all we can of these godforsaken procedures, and Fordola remains our best source of information. She'll not be getting her wish. Not yet. Right. Keep faith, lass. If you're to convince others to follow you, you must believe what you're telling them. People will respond to passion, but not if it's feigned. I understand. Thank you, General. We should leave the flames to it. Let's go. Someday I want Roban to have a robotic arm. I go looking for answers about the Echo, and end up getting schooled by Roban. Yet more evidence that I don't know what I'm doing. It's no wonder people listen to him and not me. General Aldin is a veteran of countless campaigns, Elise. You cannot compare yourself to a commander of his experience. I know, but I also know that I couldn't have convinced that mob to give up and go home. It makes me realize how much we rely on his authority, and how much I still have to learn. I wonder what he'll do when everything here is settled. I mean, it's his homeland. After going to the trouble of winning it back, might he not want to stay? 'Tis a quandary which countless refugees now face, to continue the life they built in Ul'dah, or start again in the land of their birth. Teja, a moment. You know, I remembered that I began my life traveling, and then the first town was Ul'dah for me. I'm newly returned from Ul'dah with a message from the Sultana. Her Grace desires an audience with you. She understands that you have responsibilities here, but asks that you visit the palace at your earliest convenience. Well, I must away and attend to other business. Until next time, my friends. See ya, Pip. I love the new sword that he has. An audience with the Sultana. Depending on the nature of her consultation, this might be the perfect opportunity to inquire about the General's future plans. Yes, we'd all like to know about those, Alpha Note, but not everyone's as comfortable interrogating royalty as you. Take no notice of him, Teha. Okay. I mean, I am curious. Well, the question of how to put the Mad King's treasures to good use shows no sign of answering itself. Shall we be about it, Arenvald? I'm at your beck and call. And I should be getting back to my own tasks. I'll organize a squad to head down to the ruins, and then start preparing for the big meeting. Oh, send Nanamo my regards, Teha. And ours too, if you please. We shall see you on your return. You are expected, my lord. Please proceed.
I thank you for answering my summons in these most interesting times. You have been busy.
Yeah. Very.
The liberation of Alamigo will have far-reaching consequences, and there is a matter upon which I would seek your counsel. I speak of Rauban and his future. All know the tale of his rise from penniless refugee to member of the Syndicate and General of the Immortal Flames. Yet though he has come to call Uldar home, it will never be his homeland. He is a son of Alamigo. And now that she is free, I thought it only a matter of time before he sought my leave to return to her. Indeed, I had resigned myself to his loss. Suffice it to say, I was greatly surprised to hear him speak so lightly of handing over the reins in Alamigo and retaking his place at my side. I will welcome him with open arms, of course. He is my most trusted advisor and my dearest friend. But I have known the man a long time, and beneath that steely gaze, I spied a flicker of doubt. Whether Rauban chooses to remain in Uldar or return to Alamigo, I only wish that he do so with a heart unburdened by guilt or regret. Yet, how can he freely make such a choice, knowing how much I depend on him? It is past time that I learned to discharge my duties as a Sultana alone. I must go forth and see my realm with my own eyes, and hear the wind with my own ears.
Just don't drink anything while you're traveling, please.
Might I have your company for a brief adventure? Wonderful.
Yay.
Allow me a moment to change into something a touch less conspicuous, and I will join you outside.
Perchance you remember... Wait a minute. That's cute. Perchance you remember Lilura, the merchant's daughter. This is the persona I assume when I venture beyond the palace walls to observe my subjects unnoticed. Ordinarily, Papa Shan would accompany me, but for this particular outing I need an advisor, not a minder. And that is why I requested your company. Over the course of your many adventures, you've met people from all walks of life, in every corner of Eorzea, and I would make use of your worldly your experience. Now let us be on our way. Our first destination is Stone's Throw, just beyond the Gate of Nald. Look upon this procession of tattered tents. These refugees camp in squalor, at the mercy of the elements and Thanalan's predators both. The city's mighty walls offer safety, but the streets overflow with people as it is, and unless blessed by the hand of Nald himself, no refugee could ever hope to afford a dwelling in Ul'dah. 20 years have passed since the fall of Alamigo, and 5 since the calamity, yet the plight of the poor has grown more desperate, not less. As Sultana, the blame falls on me. And my best has not been good enough. Shall we press on? I would follow the road to the unholy air. To the where now? To the whoosy whatsy? It was here in this unholy, unremarkable place that my mother and my father met their doom. But I was a child at the time. My parents were returning from an inspection of our interests in eastern Thanalan when an untimely rock slide crushed their carriage. To this day, it's not certain if the incident was simple misfortune or an expertly planned assassination. Roban once offered to reopen the investigation and bring me the truth he assumed I must surely crave, but I refused. Even if my parents' deaths were orchestrated by the Moniturists, we could have brought her hirelings. We could only have brought their hirelings to justice. The true villains, those who plotted to put me on the throne as a biddable puppet, were ever beyond our reach. Thus did I plan to strip the merchants of their power and place our nation in the hands of its citizens, quite unaware that the consequences of my actions would have for you and yours. I shudder to think how many goodly souls paid the price of my naivete. But I'm no longer a child reciting words in witless obedience, and I will not be used as a pawn by the Moniturists' damnable games. Forgive me my outburst, but you're one of the few people to whom I feel I can speak my mind. Come, let us return to Ul'dah and visit the Colosseum. From the moment I became Sultana, I found myself thrust into an endless parade of document signing and ceremonies. For years I simply signed where I was told to sign, and sat where I was told to sit, blissfully oblivious to what any of it meant. Yet one good thing did come from that ignominious chapter in my life, for it is during the official visit to the Colosseum that I first met Roban. The match I had been invited to attend was not at all what I expected. I had pitted the bull of Alamigo against some dozen or so rival gladiators. Blinkered though as I was, I would not stand for so obvious an injustice, and demanded to see a fair fight, one man against another, and my royal wish was duly granted. It was not until later that I learned of the gambling ring which had arranged for Roban to die in the sands that day. Regardless, my intervention meant that Roban had but a single opponent to dispatch, which he duly did. And when he knelt before me to receive the winner's purse, he swore that he would one day offer me his blade in service. Surrounded as I was by liars and manipulators, I confess I dismissed it as a pleasant piece of theater. But as you know, Roban is a man of his word. Though it took him another 5 years of fighting on the blood sands, he amassed a fortune so great as to buy not only his freedom, but a seat in the syndicate. And then I had my blade. Hey, the theme song.
Your Grace, you mustn't! The danger is too great! Please, Your Grace, come back! I beg of you!
They can't catch it.
It seems you're the one who needs looking after, Master Sham. Raban!
Your Grace,
Wait.
I have kept the promise made.
So you have, and in turn, so too shall I keep mine. With your winnings, you have become one of the 6 most wealthy souls in all Ul'dah, and so, as tradition dictates, Rauben Aldin, you have earned yourself a seat on the Syndicate. May your new station garner you still greater glories.
I am honored, Your Grace, and vow to serve with every fiber of my being from this day till my last. Long live the Sultana, and long live Ul'dah!
I've seen that cutscene, like in I think that was a reenactment of a cutscene that appeared in 1.0. I remember seeing a documentary about 1.0 when it was released, and it had that cutscene, or at least cinematically, it looked almost identical. I wonder if it was the same thing. I guess I'll never know because you can't play it, but words cannot well express what that man means to me. I know I'm very aware of how much you mean to each other. There are others who care deeply for my well-being, of course. Papa Shan's love for me is that of a grandsire for his grandchild. But upon matters of governance, I cannot turn to bodyguards and maidservants for counsel. Rauben, with the authority of his syndicate position, was the first sword I could wield. His was the only edge which could cut the strings that bound me. The Sultana strings. Yeah, give me dolmen tea, an after-supper beverage naturally sweetened with dried persimmons. Widely popular in the Far East. Interesting. We must make haste. My absence will not go unnoticed by the Sultan's sworn for long, and other places I would visit. To the Arzeneth Ossuary. When the calamity threatened, Rauben led the Alliance forces into battle on the plains of Cartno, and I remained here. I prayed with all my heart that Archon Louis would have the power to rouse the 12. Since that day, I have made a custom of visiting this shrine during each of my little excursions. Here, I think the blessing of Thal reflect upon my choices, and ask myself if I'm fulfilling my duties as Sultana. You are rightly celebrated as a champion because you've led the line in 100 battles for the good of Eorzea. In much the same way, I believe the measure of a monarch lies in how she leads her people in times of adversity. If I am to be a Sultana worthy of the name, I cannot turn a blind eye to the troubles facing Ul'dah. I've chosen my path, Teha. With Ala Mhigo now freed from imperial chains, I finally see a way to aid the refugees. Already, many displaced Ala Mhigans seek to begin the long trek home. To facilitate that process, I have made a small contribution, An artisan school in Ralgar's reach for any who wish to learn new trades. Realistically, however, it will take years for such training to yield tangible benefits. But we do not have years. These people will need shelter and employment if they are to survive, and this time the Ul'dan treasury shall provide. Precisely where and how to allocate the necessary funds is, of course, another question. A wise suggestion. Mayhap a visit to the Gold Saucer is in order. As proprietor is a member of the Syndicate, and he's one of the few who pay refugees a fair wage. I wonder, are you acquainted with Godbert Mandeville? I'm acquainted with a Mandeville, yeah. Then I need not explain his eccentric nature. Let us make our way to the landing, and I will see that word is sent to the Gold Saucer. Godbert should be only too glad to receive us. I've ridden aboard a public airship before. This shall be my first visit to the Gold Saucer. I must confess to some excitement. She's never been? I'm sure for security reasons I get it, but... not even to like sneak a ride? Hide amongst the people? I had heard descriptions of its splendor, yet I've never dreamed it would be so bright and inviting. No, I couldn't possibly. We did not come here to fritter away the royal coin. Godbert will be expecting us. Come, let us head directly into the lounge to ignore these gaudy temptations. I mean, you know what? If you want, we could play a little leap of faith, you know. Maybe some triple triad, some mini cackpot. You know, just one. Just one. There's a leap of faith going off right now. I believe this is where to meet Lord Mandeville. Shall we sit while we await his coming? My apologies, Your Grace. I've kept you waiting. No apologies are necessary, Godbert. My request was sudden, and you were kind to make yourself available at such short notice. When my son's good friend and the Sultana herself come calling, there is no more important engagement. As to the purpose of my visit, I would have your thoughts on how the Crown might best aid the refugees residing in Thanalan. You are aware, I'm sure, that many of Alamigo's misplaced sons and daughters long to return to their newly liberated homeland. And you are also aware of how they will suffer without shelter and work to sustain them. I would use our nation's wealth to spare them that suffering. What advice have you for me on the matter of how it might be best be distributed? The unusual circumstances of our meeting, and your Grace's choice of companion, would suggest to me a desire for an honest and unvarnished opinion. I shall give you one. My advice to you is stop. Taxing Ul'da's wealth to save Alamigan refugees is a terrible, terrible idea. You oppose my proposition? Most emphatically. I agree with your Grace that the refugees must have housing and employment. But what profit is there for Ul'da in this arrangement? Profit? After all you've done for Girabania's displaced, I thought you the very last person to seek to benefit from their misfortune. Forgive me, Your Grace, but you appear to be laboring under a misapprehension. It's a fine endeavor to support one's fellow man. I fear, however, that your stance is one born of pity. Your intent is to save the refugees, is it not? For all our potential, we are indolent creatures by nature. If unconditional charity is all we know, then we begin to rely upon it, to expect it. And then we must consider Ul'dah's own poor and downtrodden. Should they hear of you spending the nation's coin, not to improve their lot, but to nurture the distant citizens of Alamigo, it is unlikely they would applaud your generosity. Surely it is not your grace's intention to foster new resentments, but to spread goodwill? Indeed. Then any support I pledge to the refugees must promote self-sufficiency, whilst also serving the interests of the people of Ul'dah. Exactly so. Such an arrangement will create a far more equitable relationship with the returning Alamegans, even if as it generates the revenue required to win the approval of your subjects. You have given me much to ponder, Lord Mandeville. I thank you for your candor. Prophet. The thought had never even crossed my mind, but standing about lamenting my naivete will not do anyone any good. I shall consider my lesson learned and press on. Teja, are you perchance acquainted with any successful merchants? If my attempt at philanthropy is obliged to reap a profit, it would seem wise to consult someone with a knack for business. Ordinarily, I would not trust any agent of the East Aldenar Trading Company, but if you hold this Hancock fellow in high esteem, I'm content to be led by you. You may repay my faith by journeying to distant Kugane and speaking with him on my behalf. Eager though I am to visit those shores, I have not the leisure for a lengthy sea voyage. Now, assuming you will travel as adventurers are wont to do, I shall await your report by the Aetheryte in Ul'dah. A fair journey to you, Teja, and a swift one, if you please. Okay. Teja, to what do I owe the pleasure? Or are you here on business? I beg your pardon. Her Grace the Sultana would have my opinion on how best to invest the wealth of Ul'dah. My dear Teja, I have to thank you for this recognition, I'm sure. And I am flattered that you came to me, truly flattered. But why settle for a lowly apprentice when you could have the master? Upon matters of profit, there's no living soul better qualified to advise Her Grace than Chairman Lolorito, a man whose morning exertions are said to fill his guard robe with gold. I should be happy to arrange a meeting for you, say, at the Scion's former headquarters in Thanalan. The Waking Sands would seem a suitably neutral venue for negotiations, don't you think? Fare you well, Teja, and may your dealings prove fruitful. Alright, well, that was a bunch of nothing. Welcome back, Teja. Did your merchant friend have any useful advice to share? With Lolorito? And you agreed to this? I'm well aware of his standing in the field of business, but I'd hoped to keep the monitors at arm's length, and him in particular. Nay, I cannot live in fear of the man. I must learn how to treat with him if I am to rule Ul'dah effectively. Very well, I will meet with Lolorito. Let us go on ahead to the Waking Sands, and prepare for his coming. Once again, I must pray return to the Waking Sands. Oh, and we're just here. No need. No need to teleport. So this is where the Scions first congregated. I've heard many tales, but never had occasion to visit. To work then. The hour of the meeting draws near, and I will gather my thoughts. Pray see to it that we have the appointed room to ourselves. Alright.
A personal summons from the Scions. This must be important business indeed. Though, if it concerns anything so underhand as an assassination, I fear I can be of little help.
Yeah, he probably already knows.
You have made your point. It is indeed unsettling to find oneself seated across from an impassive mask. There, would this better please your grace? Or should I address you as Lady Lilira? Hmm?
Nay, the deception has served its purpose. I'm glad to see you found amusement in my little jest, Lord Lolorito, but shall we proceed to the business at hand?
By all means. I must say, I am most eager to hear your proposal.
Simply put, I would aid the refugees camped in Thanalan in their efforts to return to Alamigo. The reparations you paid in the wake of your earlier misdemeanors will be used to fund the endeavor, together with the fortune seized from the late Teleji Adeleji's estate. But this plan is not intended to benefit the displaced alone. I would make of this an investment which shall enrich Uldar and Alamigo both. And who better to consult on matters of profit than the wealthiest man in all of Thanalan? I beseech you then, Lord Lolorito, share with us your mercantile wisdom.
Ah, 'twould seem your grace has matured beyond acts of earnest yet misplaced charity. Pray tell me more. To summarize, in return for facilitating the repatriation of refugees and assisting in the establishment of new industry in Alamigo, you ask that a proportion of all subsequent profits be promised to Uldar. Ha! I am impressed, Your Grace. 'Tis an elegant solution, albeit one lacking certain crucial details, specifically which industry and where.
How swiftly you identified the weakness in my plan, just as I knew you would. Your travels have taken you across the length and breadth of Gir Abania, and you know the land far better than I. Which of the settlements you visited would best provide a home for our refugees? Which has the greatest potential to flourish, given the appropriate investment?
I actually don't know the answer, but...
Yes, if a stable trade route can be established between Uldar and Alamigo, then Alagiri would once more become an important waypoint. But while such growth would greatly benefit its current residents, I'm afraid it could sustain little beyond that.
Oh, so I actually have to answer the question.
Ah, yes, that desolate little village on the shore of Loch Seld. I I know the Saltry and its products well. The Imperial invasion brought an end to their more widespread distribution, much to the dismay of many a wealthy gourmand, myself included. Salt has ever been a transformative ingredient, and in this instance, I dare say, it could transform a modicum of effort into a mountain of gill.
The local citizens will need to be consulted, of course, but I trust the East Aldenar Trading Company can be relied upon to provide its assistance in negotiating a mutually beneficial arrangement.
Naturally, Your Grace. I shall dispatch representatives well versed in the extraction of this white gold and wring every last ounce of profit from its production. The Loch's bounty will contribute to Alamigo's enrichment, whilst easing the burden on the bull's aching shoulders, just as Your Grace desired.
A deal is struck then.
I don't like it, but we're doing it. It's an inconvenient partnership, to say the least, but I fear it will be many years before I feel comfortable taking part in such negotiations. But I shall not complain. We have piqued Lodorito's interest and secured his invaluable expertise. Thank you, Teja. I could not have done it without you. Jelly compote? Persimmon leaf sushi? Consideration of rice topped with fish. I'll take it. I'll take that. Sure. Why not? Our course is decided. I shall return to the palace and have my ministers begin work on implementing the particulars of the plan. If I could prevail upon you one more time, Teja, I would ask that you convey the details of our negotiations to Commander Hext upon your return to Alamigo. Cool. Thanks again. Together, we have laid the groundwork for an endeavor which promises to benefit the peoples of Alamigo and Ul'dah both. Wait, what else does she... He's probably gonna search for you, yeah. I miss coming back here just for the ambient music. Nostalgia now. Like, I haven't I've played this game for almost a year and it's already nostalgic. Teja, you're back. What did Nanamo... Oh, sorry. Are you allowed to talk about your audience with the Sultana? So Roban says he's going to return to Ul'dah, but she isn't sure he wants to. Tell us something we don't know, but I'm pleased to hear she's committed to helping our refugees come home. And this plan to revitalize Saltery does make a lot of sense. Quite how you convinced her to seek Lodorito's help is another question. After all that has happened, he's the very last person I would expect her to turn to for advice. But on a more practical note, Lise, assuming the interim government elects to accept Ul'dah's proposal, I have one caveat I should like you to include in the bargain. Alamigo must be permitted to cover a portion of the investment. We have a fortune at our disposal after all, and allowing Ul'dah to provide the entirety of the capital will afford Lodorito too much control. Honestly, Alphanote, it's like Kugane never happened. What exactly does a ruthless profiteer have to do to earn your trust? But yes, you do make a good point. First things first though, we need to discuss this proposal with the Saltery's residents. Whiskar, how do you fancy explaining Sultana's plan to your grandfather? I'd like to hear what Wat thinks of the idea before agreeing to anything. Right away, Commander. Would you mind coming along, Teja? Might need you to fill in the details. Then I shall come as well. Should what wish to discuss figures, my knowledge of the nation's finances may prove useful. What manner of mischief brings you youngins to Old Wat this time, eh? They want to rebuild the Saltery, Granddad. Teja, tell him about the deal. Well, bugger me. I've never had the coin or the hands to put the place back to how it was. But it sounds like that's about to change. There's just one small wrinkle in your plan. Doesn't account for all the nasties queuing up to eat anyone who goes near the shore. The king used to send soldiers to cull the buggers, but the Imperials weren't about to help the likes of us. Don't worry, Granddad. We'll take care of all that. Commander Hex has been talking about starting up regular patrols, and I'm sure she'd assign me to the lock if I asked. I'd appreciate that with Scar, my lad. Truly I would. So does this mean you've gotten better with that blade of yours? I've been training, aye, but mostly to kill Imperials. You've some experience hunting monsters, don't you, Teja? Think you could cast an eye over a few of the local beasties to teach me how to deal with them? Let's not waste any time then. I'll see you by the lock. Whilst you're busy attending to the local fauna, I shall have Master Watt explain to me exactly what is required to restore the Saltery to its former glory. Good hunting. Right then, Teja. Got a spyglass here you can use to take a closer look at these pests. Once you've got their measure, you can tell me what to do, and we'll see how well I get on. Search your surroundings for yabbies. You may move the camera as well as zoom in and out. Target a yabby and inspect it with left click. Oh, that... okay. What a small point to focus on. Because I thought when I saw the jaw, I was like, well, okay, what else? But I had to hold it there. The Abbey's entire body is protected by a hard carapace, but the underside of the head looks soft and vulnerable. Ah, looks like you found the Yabby. They say hitting their shells like smacking a rock. Any suggestions? Aim for the soft underside of the head. Just hit a... yeah. Gotta be specific. Vulnerable under their head, are they? Right then. Wish me luck. God, he better not die. You gain 1 XP for that. Congrats. You're still at level 0. Thanks, Teja. I did just as you told me, and the wavekin went down like a sack of patos. Oh, God. Let's find something else. We're pronouncing it that, are we? I think I can handle the Yabbies now, so we should try something different. What else is out there? Search your surroundings for phobads. You may move the camera. Alright. These enemies are just bizarre to me. At first try. They took less than 2 seconds. Oh, Phobad's hands are large and powerful, but destroying the crystallized core should render the salt golem inanimate. you sense power pulsating from it behind its brow. Ugh, a Phobad. How do I defeat one of those? I like how the second answer is just so fucking vague. Inside its head, is it? I'll try to stab it right between the eyes. He got absolutely flattened. It looked like he just deflated it, popped a hole, and that was it. That's funny. Alright. It's not easy, fighting with a liberator of Alamigo watching your every move, but I got the job done. Thanks for the advice, Teja. I feel a lot better prepared for my patrols now. Any road, we should head back to the Saltery before Granddad starts to worry. I've been snipped into pieces and fed to a Yabi's hatchlings. I see you returned in one piece. Dealt with those beasties then, did you? I fought them myself, after a bit of instruction from Teja here, like. Once I've shared what I've learned with the others, we should have no trouble keeping the shoreline clear. Good lad. A fine young man you've become, Whisker. A fine young man indeed. Too often of late I hear tales of folk over the city, drunk on victory and hungry for revenge, their heads stuck firmly in the past. But we need to set our sights on the future, on things which will improve our lot. Things like getting the Saltery ready to welcome our long-lost countrymen. Seems Whisker has the Saltery security well in hand. I, meanwhile, have discussed the next steps with Master Watt and completed my inspection of the site. With a little work, the vacant buildings here will be made into very presentable dwellings. Message from General Alden. Apologies for the interruption, sir, but the General would speak with you at your earliest convenience. Do not feel obliged to wait around on my account. I will remain here to hammer out the finer details with Watt, and act as an intermediary with our business partners in Ul'dah. You should go. General Alden asks that you wait for him by the main gate in the Alamigan Quarter. My apologies again, sir. Fare you well.
Apologies for the wait. People are screaming for the butcher's blood again. No sooner have we broken up one mob than another forms. Thankfully, all have been amenable to reason, thus far. But it is no concern of yours. We must speak of the men Arenvald and his comrades apprehended in the peaks.
By their uniforms, the captives were first judged to be Imperial troops. But after further investigation, their true identities came to light. I dare say you remember Yuyuhasi and Laurentius, the fugitives who conspired with Captain Ilberd in the Crystal Brave's betrayal. Aye, well, it would seem they followed him all the way to the wall. It was they who orchestrated the slaughter of the resistance fighters prior to the Griffin's infernal ritual.
Were it in your hands, how would you punish these men?
Their lives would be forfeit. Yeah, if we were in battle.
You would spare these animals. Yours is a more merciful brand of justice than mine. In any event, I thank you for your honesty. When the time comes for the Alliance to pass judgment, I'll see that your opinion is heard. Well, that concludes our business here. But there is more I would say. Walk with me.
I would kill them if we were like fighting, but I feel like I fought with them already. They still lived.
I bear a share of the blame for Ilbert's atrocities. Had I openly supported the cause of Alamegan liberation, he might not have felt driven to do what he did. Things could have been different, and I'm sorry they aren't. But even after all that has happened, my homeland is free. With the Scions and the Alliance at their side, my countrymen have reclaimed what many thought lost forever. Under her new leadership, I have every confidence that Alamigo will emerge from the shadow of the Empire and rise once more to greatness. Which means my work here is done. Soon I will return to Uldar and take my place at the Sultana's side.
Father...
I'll not deny there's a part of me that wants to stay. The same part that contemplated renouncing my rank and joining you as a wandering sellsword. But I pledged my blade to Nanamo, and I will not betray that oath.
Is this truly what you want, Father?
It is. Ever has my sword been hers to command, and ever shall it remain. Thank you for lending an ear. When all the rest are clamoring for me to stay, I trust you'll send me on my way.
It took longer than I intended, but at least you know where I stand. Now that's settled. Arenvald, what news? May have a problem, sir. A group of Anantas arrived at the main gates, and I don't mean the Vera. These are Kalyana, the ones that summoned the Primal. They're insisting that they be allowed to attend the council. Lisa's trying to reason with them, but she may need help. An invitation was extended to all the native beast tribes, but we assumed the Kalyana would refuse it out of hand. We best go see it for ourselves. Pip, take command of our forces and be ready for battle. Teha, you've dealt with these Kalyana before. I'll leave you at my side. Teha, Roban, gods, it's good to see you. Ah, the Slayer has come. We've not forgotten how you sinned against the Lady of Bliss, but we did not come here to shed blood. You claim to seek harmony with all who call Girabania home. If this is truly your wish, you will welcome us as envoys of the Ananta. It is our wish, and you are welcome, but we cannot condone the summoning of primals. If you want to enter the palace, I must ask that you first surrender any crystal jewelry. You have my word that it will be returned to you when the meeting is over. We will do as you ask, but you will not have our weapons. We are not so foolish as to place ourselves entirely at the mercy of our tormentors. I reckon that's the closest we're ever going to get to a compromise, and we will have people standing guard. Aye, let them keep their swords. And we have an agreement. Lead the way to your meeting chamber. Why do I have a feeling we've welcomed the Viper into our midst? I don't know. Dress up Roban. Detachable arm optional? Wow. I'm offended by proxy for him. Use item to acquire a dressable one. Okay. This Kalyana's elder's intentions seem at odds with all we know of her tribe. What think you, Teha? You believe an understanding can be reached. It is not entirely unheard of, I suppose. Those who followed Saint Shiva eventually sought reconciliation with Ishgard. Whatever the truth, I would take no chances. The guard must be strengthened, ideally with people who know a thing or two about primals. Can we rely on the scions? I'll round up our comrades, send them to the Alamegan quarter. You can go on ahead if you like, Teha. My thanks. I will see you in the palace. It's very strange, these creatures. The Salt Druva. It's like floating heads, but invisibly attached to their bodies. Teha, I've brought reinforcements. Ornvar told me of the arrival of our unexpected guests, and I agreed that it would be prudent to call upon Y'shtola and Thancred as well. One can never be too careful when dealing with the enthralled. I'm not familiar with the Kalyana tribe myself, but Alisay's report suggested that they shunned contact with other races. Despised it, in fact, even compared to other Ananta. Indeed, this apparent reversal in attitude is most curious. No one expected a response to our invitation, much less an envoy, and I imagine Lisa was forced to make some rather hasty arrangements in order to accommodate them. Speaking of which, how should we deploy ourselves? If the meeting is to be held in the throne room, it would seem wise to have eyes both inside and outside the palace. Y'shtola and I can stand guard without. That leaves 3 of you to keep watch over proceedings in the throne room itself. Understood. We should join General Alden inside then. Teha, do you know of the rear entrance to the palace? It's on the eastern edge of the city, at the top of the stairs. The guard there should have been instructed to let us pass. You're with the Scion, sir. General Alden left orders that you were to be escorted inside. If you'll follow me.
Thank you all for coming. I am Lise Hext, and I speak for the Resistance. Among you are village elders, refugee leaders, envoys from the Ananta and the Kikern. You've come from every corner of Girabania to help decide the future of Alamigo. But before that, I want to ask you a question. What was the first thing you noticed when you came in? For me, it was that empty throne. It has no one to sit on it now. No viceroy, no king. Would any of you like to take their place? Or should someone else sit there? Then let's sit here in a circle, as equals, and I hope, as friends.
Expertly done. Lys has removed monarchy as a choice early in the game, and positioned them to consider a joint government.
It's not a bad idea.
All things considered, I would say events have got off to a fine start.
Don't jinx it, Alpha Note. For fuck's sake, after everything we've been through.
And that is Alagana's stance on the matter.
Thank you, Ragenfrid. Another vote in favor. Next, let's hear from Shanti of the Kaliana. Tell us, how do your people feel about the idea of a republic?
The Ananta wish only that those who dwell within Gir Abania devote themselves to our faith. You shall all worship Sri Lakshmi!
We should never let them in. I swear to fucking God.
Lady of Bliss, grace us once more with your beauteous visage!
We're gonna have to do that instance again. I hope not.
This can't be happening. No crystals were allowed through the door.
We can worry about the how of it later. We need to evacuate these people right now, or the Primal will make thralls of them all.
It's up to us.
Damn it! The guards were already turned!
Oh.
Fools!
No, you don't!
The Kaliana would see us all enthralled.
Then they're going to be sorely disappointed. We have the Warrior of Light and Arenvald to shield us.
Aye, but they can't well defend your guests and attack the Primal, can they? We're stuck on the back foot.
All right, I think I have an idea. Keep these people safe, General. I'll be back as soon as I can.
Whatever she's about, you'd best make it quick. Come then. Who will be next to die on my steel?
Are we fighting? Oh, we're fighting. How do we fight her without leaving our allies wide open? We can't stay on the back foot forever. No, damn it. If I think we like that, we're already lost. I have the Warrior of Light by my side. We can do this. Isn't that right, Teja? Use the duty action deflect to dissipate the Aether Spears Lakshmi releases during the battle. Be warned that allowing an ally to be enthralled by an Aether Spear will result in failure. Okay, yep. Okay. I have to be closer to that.
I offer you peace and serenity.
Oh, fuck. Okay. Alright. Oh my god. Nope.
I shall free you from your hate.
You gotta be kidding me. Hold on. Did we do it?
Damn it all! It's only a matter of time before we miss one.
What of it? Do you want to kill this thing or not?
Oh, she freed her. all the primaries. Oh, here we go. Here we go.
Do not your souls weigh heavy?
Think we got it? Just need to not die. Shit, how do I do this?
Here it comes!
There we go. It didn't seem like we were gonna win. Well, we did it. First try, surprisingly. It felt, a lot of it felt like I was gonna fail. Thank you for the GGs.
We did it! We beat her!
What is this?
I'm only gonna say this once. The Ananta just summoned their primal in the throne room. My friends are fighting her, but they need help. They need someone with the Echo, and by the gods, I wish I had it, but I don't. I told you before that you still had time, but things have changed. I need your answer now. You can end it like Xenos, or you can fight for Alamigo. Your choice.
Seven hells. It's her, the Butcher.
It's done. Take me back to my cell.
You are not forgiven. Not you. You I will never forgive. But I will thank you. For standing against a primal and saving us from servitude. You have my thanks.
Huh. Oh, that felt, that got me in the feels real quick. Saved by the bloody butcher. This is a cute thing, whatever they're called. Arenvald's great. I mean, he has like a power similar to mine, so it's nice to have someone by my side in battle like that. Well fought, Teja, Arenvald. That was a near thing. Aye, our stand against the Caliano would have been brief indeed had you not volunteered for guard duty. We'd be enthralled as surely as our sentries were. We must have planned this far in advance. Security was my responsibility, and I know how dangerous primals can be. I should have... It's my fault, my stupid mistake. Nay, lass, we were all caught unawares. We will take this as a lesson, and watch our own more carefully in the future. You can be sure that the lackeys who smuggled the crystals into the throne room weren't the only thralls in our ranks. The soldier who first spoke up in favor of the Caliana keeping their weapons springs to mind. Primal's servant is betrayed by his aura. If you mean to conduct an investigation, I can identify any others acting under Sri Lakshmi's influence. Thanks, Shistola. We'd appreciate the help. Speaking of help, I almost fell over when Fordola turned up. What was she even doing there? I asked her to come. Well, that explains it then. It's sad, but Ragnfrid was right. Her victims will never forgive her for what she's done. But I don't think Fordola picked up that sword looking for forgiveness. She just wanted to fight for her country. If you say the world in which Fordola grew up in is partly to blame for what she became, then as an Alamegan, I feel responsible for improving that world. We can't ignore what's happening right now. We have to show people a better way than vengeance. We risk giving birth to a new generation of skulls. I know it's idealistic, but I want to help people let go of their old grievances and make peace with each other. And I'll hold 1,000 meetings and talk till I'm blue in the face if that's what it takes. It's a long and arduous path you've chosen, but one well worth walking. Rest assured that I will do what I can to help you reach your destination. Thank you, Alphino. First step will be to get our representatives back in the throne room. They're a little shaken, but not one of them seem ready to run. They're all determined to finish what we started. I will see that you're not interrupted. Teja, you and the Scions are to stand down. Get some rest. You've earned it.
A fine spot to contemplate the heavens. The meeting is over. The envoys have chosen to instate a government modelled on Ishgard's House of Commons, a ruling body of representatives elected by the people.
That's good.
It is a fair decision, and one which signals the end of my part in all this. But I would gaze upon Girabania's stars one last time before I leave. Forget something? Your Grace, there was no word.
Raubon Aldin, you are hereby dismissed as General of the Immortal Flames and relieved of your seat on the Syndicate.
But, Your Grace...
Raubon, I am no longer a child. Stay here in your homeland. Work with your brethren. Rebuild Alamigo.
You desire to stand alone. I understand, but remember what happened.
I remember full well the consequences of my naivety, and thus did I consult at length with a most trusted advisor ere I embarked upon this course.
A most trusted advisor? And what of me? Am I no longer deserving of your confidence?
What trust can there be between us when you withhold the truth from me? Did you think me oblivious to the anguish in your eyes when you spoke of returning to Uldar? For years and years, we have trusted one another. Yet now you refuse to confess your heart's desire?
I swore an oath to you that day on the sands. I pledged my sword.
And it has served me well. But in Pippin you have forged a new sword, as sharp and deadly as the blade you bequeathed him. I will show you a Sultana who can wield every weapon at her disposal, including Lolorito and his monetarist cronies. So follow your heart, please. You are home. You are free.
None more.
Smile for me, Raubon. I would have this parting be a joyous one.
Thank you, Your Grace. It has been an honor to serve you and Uldar.
Tomorrow you will serve Alamigo and fight for the good of all Eorzea. Am I understood?
Yes, Your Grace.
Ugh. That got me very teary-eyed. It's very... I don't think I've ever seen him cry. Like, that got me hard. I hope... the only thing I'm concerned about is, like, I hope she gets some good guards or backup. Because Raubon's one of a kind. Even with one arm, he's a beast. She needs proper guardsmen. Not the ones that are outside her door or anything.
Thanks for shielding us from Lakshmi, you two. If you hadn't been there, the rest of us would be worshipping her by now.
You're kind to include me, Lise. But we both know who did most of the work. I could scarce keep track of the battle, let alone land a telling blow. No shame in admitting it. The Warrior of Light has put far better men than me in the shade.
Did I mention that I encountered the Sultana in the palace? It would seem Her Grace has come to Girabania to oversee the final stages of her relocation project. She was in search of General Oldin, and I directed her to the rooftop garden. I do hope he was still there.
Are you in the habit of gossiping about the affairs of royalty, Master Leveilleur?
Yeah, prepare to get your ass kicked.
Certainly not, Your Grace. I was merely informing my companions.
This man's always has to be on edge, I swear.
Be at ease, Alphino. 'Twas only a jest.
Pippin's like, ah, shit.
But I must yield the floor to Rauban. He has an important announcement to make.
As of yesternight, I have been relieved of my post in the Immortal Flames and the Syndicate both.
I shall be assuming my father's duties. And may I say that Tizona has never felt heavier upon my back.
I am in need of employment. Mayhap one of my old acquaintances can introduce me to a mercenary company or some such.
Oh, Roban.
You may be getting on in years, father, but you'd struggle to find a band of sellswords who wouldn't snap your hand off. Your remaining hand.
Yes, the bull of Alamigo need not be put out to pasture just yet.
Her Grace has developed a wicked edge to her humor, and you, Pippin, would do well not to laugh when the future may hold the same for you.
So, does this mean you're staying?
Aye. That seems to be the way of it. I would be glad to aid you in rebuilding our nation, if you'll have me.
If, he says. Welcome home, Rauban.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, that was unexpected. Though you seem distinctly unsurprised.
Gee, I wonder
You're more
why.
astute than I give you credit for, or I'm losing my touch. In any event, one thing is certain. Alamigo will rejoice at the homecoming of her dearest son.
I think it's about time I headed back to Ralgar's Reach. What's next for all of you? Alice will be eager to hear of recent events, so I shall join you, if you've no objections. I'd welcome the company. Teja, why don't you come along to the Reach as well, once you've said your farewells to Nanamo and the others? Upon completion of this quest, you will be able to access the palace's rooftop gardens by speaking to the Royal Menagerie attendant. Okay. Like, the scene here is like one of my favorites. I just need to take pictures. Don't mind me. Well, here we are again. Alphinote has regaled me with a thrilling tale of hidden treasure troves, mid-meeting betrayals, unlikely alliances, joyous homecomings. It would seem I missed everything, I was patrolling the palace grounds with Thancred and Y'shtola when we heard the report of a primal in the throne room. I honestly doubted my own ears. As others have said, we were lucky to have our Echo-blessed champions nearby this time, but we'll need to keep a closer eye on the Kalyana. You could say that again. This whole episode has reminded me just how far apart our kinds still are. It looks like centuries of fear and mistrust really can't be washed away in a day. I mean, I could have told you that, honestly. But someone has to make an effort at reconciliation if these conflicts are ever going to end. Naturally, a lot of people are crying out for vengeance, but I've been doing my best to calm things down. Violent reprisals will only lead to more summonings. Indeed, violence will ever beget violence, as the Empire has learned to its cost in recent times. Whoever places her might not be so keen on the idea. We'll just have to watch and wait. Which isn't to say we won't be putting the safety of our allies in the Vera and M tribes first. I plan to have resistance scouts keep track of the Kalyana's movements at all times. My parents will be relieved to hear that. What are your plans for the rest of the resistance army, out of interest? Are we to prepare for Imperial counterattacks? That would be a question for the resistance newest recruit, a military commander with far more experience than me. What, the Bull of Alamigo? We call it an army, but the resistance is really a collection of smaller independent groups. And when Conrad passed his command on to me, that authority only extended to the freedom fighters based on Ralger's reach. He just happened to be serving as the resistance spokesman at the time, and needed someone to take over the role while everything was in disarray, but that time is past. When I speak with the other leaders about reforming the army under the new government, I'll be nominating Roban as the overall commander of our forces. He has more experience than the rest of us put together, and we stand to learn a lot from him. Indeed, he's in all respects the ideal choice, assuming he accepts the post. Alamigo will have added a formidable weapon to its arsenal. And given the progress of Nanamo's resettlement initiative, I see great cause for hope. The seeds which we so carefully sowed have begun to quicken, my friends. I like that. We tend to our promises and watch as Alamigo blooms. I do give thanks to the kami that my makeshift raft withstood the fury of the seas. But their generosity ended. Without coins in our pockets for new attire, we are doomed to look like so much jetsam. Oh, woe betide the poor man in a city of rich merchants. These dango are delicious. Will you have one? More sweetbreads? I surrendered my blade to secure what few coins we have. You better take the food before she eats it herself. God, this man is huge. Next to her, he's a giant. Bah. Just like talking to a child. Why fate saddled me with this burden I shall never know. But I'm alive and must return to my master's side. Come, Suyu. We shall find the ship to carry us across the Ruby Sea. I wonder what's going on with her. Is she mute? Or is she, like, reformed or something? Meanwhile, in the Imperial Palace. I'm just curious, because she does her demeanor is very different than when we last left her. Have you read the reports? First Doma, then Alamigo, and Lord Xenos put to the sword. Nah, he put himself to the sword. Do not believe everything you read. I hear the Viceroy was merely wounded, and that he has already returned to the capital. Naturally, the savages beat their chests, and boast loudly of taking his head regardless. Nay, Lord Xenos lives? Deplorable that our own officers should be fooled by Eorzean misinformation. Small wonder the provinces have begun rising up in rebellion. We must prepare an official and above all accurate announcement to quell these pernicious rumors. They would wage war with empty words. Let them produce the Viceroy's remains then. We shall soon put the lie to their claims. Who that? Whose hand is that? That looked kind of like something Hien would wear, but I don't know. More heroes. Urban's left arm.